British Canoe Club at Blue Lagoon, and I just wanted to talk about recovery today. Just let you in on some of the things that I do that I find help me, and just some hints that will be generally applicable to most people. So the most important part of training is recovery. You don't actually get fitter when you're training. You get fitter in between your training sessions. Training actually breaks you down, and then the recovery in between training is when your body adapts, recovers, and gets stronger, hopefully. So you've got to allow enough time for that. And when you're involved in an endurance sport and you need to do mileage, regardless of what sport it is, that becomes a bit tricky to get enough mileage in, but also to do it with enough recovery. So there's some tricks and tips that you can use to kind of speed the process up better than if you just did nothing and didn't sort of use any tricks. And then there are some other things that will just help people tweak training programs to just fit in a bit more recovery and therefore get fitter, actually. So a couple of things that I do is cross training. So you'll hear a lot of people talk about cross training as a good thing, and other people saying if you're not doing sort of high mileage, then there's no point in doing it, and you might as well just do more mileage. And both of those opinions are valid. For example, I know that Lindsay Perry talks about cycling as part of a Comrades preparation program as being a benefit in terms of the strength that you get in your legs for climbing. I don't necessarily believe that to be so, but it's probably because I do quite a lot of strength work in the gym, and the cycling doesn't really benefit me in a strength aspect. So I don't feel that the cycling necessarily benefits me with strength work because I do a lot of work in the gym, but it may benefit somebody else who doesn't do the gym work and the strength work in the way that I do it. So just some things, back to, got a bit off the topic there, get back to the topic of recovery. So I do a little bit of cross training. I am a paddler, as I've said previously, so I do enjoy being out on the water, and I find that paddling helps actually if I do it a certain way. That's kind of not too often, obviously. When I'm in Comrades training, I only paddle once a week, but I do find that by getting my heart rate up the way that I do when I paddle, it does contribute to my cardiovascular fitness, but I can do that in a way that it doesn't make my legs tired. And then paddling is a full body activity. You do actually use your lower body quite substantially to get power, and that activity in my legs and my lower body, although most of the kind of demand is from the muscles in my upper body, it's just enough to get the blood circulating through my legs to act as a flush. So I find when my legs are feeling heavy and sort of a lot of waste products, you can just feel that you've had a heavy training week. I find that if I go for a paddle, that I really do feel my legs rejuvenate afterwards. So I use paddling for that. Then another thing I do is that I swim. I try and swim once a week. It does get a bit tricky in winter. I don't have access to a heated pool, but I do find, being a Durbanite, it doesn't get that cold here, and I do find that it's not too bad actually swimming in the municipal pools. And I don't spend long in there. It's just sort of a quick 500-600 meter swim, which takes me, honestly, it takes me 10 minutes. And even though it does sometimes get a bit chilly, that the cooling effect of the pool is actually a good thing. So it's not quite to the extent of an ice bath, but yeah, it's cold, so it does help. And I do find that when I've done a long run and I finish, my in-laws live up at the bottom of Bothas Hill, so their pool does get a bit chillier. And I do find that if I finish a long run there, that jumping into the pool sort of for 10 minutes after I've run, so just in my sweaty kit, I just take my shoes and my socks off, take my vest off, whatever shorts I'm wearing, and I just jump in the pool and just, stand, do a bit of pool running, just move around. That effect of the water against your skin, just that gentle pressure, also flushes your legs out, and you wake up kind of, or a few hours later, you can definitely feel that you've done it. So it's a real good benefit. So those are some things that I do that are active, that help with recovery. Then in terms of less active things that you can do that will help with recovery, just think about where and when you put your training in the week. So most training programs will have one rest day, complete day where you don't run. For me, that's actually today. I generally do a reasonable length run. In Comrades training, it'll be between 15 and I've learned not to go more than 18 kilometers. Sometimes I might just stretch it a little bit more if I get the route a bit wrong, but I don't go up to 20 as my kind of midweek longer run, which I do on a Wednesday morning. Then after Wednesday morning, no exercise until it's now Thursday afternoon at 5 o'clock. The dice starts at 5:30. I'll do a little warm up and then do an easy dice. I don't do it max. So that is a longer than 24-hour rest period. It's probably 34 hours, maybe 35. So that's a good long rest, I find, and I find that the flush that I get in my legs from paddling, again, yeah, I've mentioned that before, but that's really good. But by structuring your training like that, where you train early in the morning on one day and then late in the afternoon on one day, you can, without having a rest day, you can get sort of a 34-hour rest period continuous without actually having a rest day. So when I'm in Comrades training, that's part of my regular routine. Then obviously on a Sunday morning, I also try and run early in the morning. And then if I'm training on a Monday, I will also try and train late in the afternoon. So I get another long rest period there. So I might finish a long run at around 8:30 on a Sunday morning, and then I'll try and train again if I have to train like after 5 p.m. on a Monday, which will give me, say, 33 hours of continuous rest. So there's two. So in a full training week where my volume is high, I'm still getting 2 rest periods of longer than 24 hours. It's worth just thinking about that and trying to structure your sessions like that. If you train at sort of 5 in the morning every morning, bang 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 bang, you're never giving yourself that long rest period. So it's just something that you can do to give you a long period, and you can do some stuff like go for a massage or do some stretching and mobility work and all those kind of things, and that all just builds the recovery. Other things I do, obviously I do a lot of self-massage. I have quite an extensive mobility routine that I do. Also very important is just some light, so not heavy weights, when I mean by light, but strength work. It just keeps everything active and keeps everything healthy, and it's the strength work with the mobility work just keeps you moving well. And if you can move well, it keeps away all the niggles and aches and the pains, which is recovery. So yeah, it's important to kind of get some knowledge about your own body, where your weaknesses are and what you need to work on, so that you can help yourself and keep out of an office like mine. And if you do end up in somebody like me's office, it's worth picking their brain always, to try and see what knowledge they have. And my advice is always, you know, if you're seeing somebody or whatever and you don't feel that they have knowledge relevant to what you're doing, then find someone who does. It really does make a difference if you are seeing somebody that they do have relevant knowledge and experience in your field. It can make a big difference to, it doesn't really matter what sport you're doing, but yeah, it does make a difference when the person that's dealing with you understands you and understands your body and understands the way your mind works. That's very important. Yeah, let's go and do some exercise now. Yeah, so another thing I thought I'd just chat quickly about is keeping your body in condition to what it normally does. So I've spoken before about being a paddler. Obviously that makes my upper body pretty strong, and that's the reason why I carry all the sort of the muscles around my shoulders that runners normally don't have. And I have found in the past that when I've neglected my upper body and not paddled and not done the gym work that I normally do, that some body parts of mine get unhappy and start to cause niggles and things around my neck and my shoulders, despite the fact that I'm running. They just get unhappy because they lose condition. So I always find that just paddling once a week, doing a little bit of gym work also just once a week on my upper body, just helps everything sort of stay happy, and keeps all the muscle tone up, and just makes my body feel like it normally feels. In those previous years where I have tried to neglect the upper body deliberately, my body just doesn't feel normal, and it feels unhappy. So I feel far healthier and far stronger, and I can run better when my body is used the way it normally is, and everything's strong, and everything's healthy, and feels like my posture's better. So yeah, that's just a hint that I thought I'd share. Whatever you normally do, keep doing a little bit of it, even though you are training for Comrades. About to head out onto the water. This is the toughest thing I've had to do all day. Swim in a freezing cold Hillcrest pool to try and help recovery. I think this water is about 14 degrees, maybe 15 if I'm lucky. It's cold, very cold. So how to do this and why it works. The pressure of the water on whatever part of your body needs to recover helps to flush all the junk out. So those are let's just call them accumulated metabolites, especially for a runner that's why I'm only waist deep, is because I'm only worried about my legs. So for a runner, there's a lot of venous pooling that can happen in your calves especially, and the pressure of the water on the tissue from the outside just helps to flush all that out and get it back into circulation. And then once it's in circulation, they are accumulated metabolites, so waste product, and once it's in your circulation, your liver and kidneys can deal with it a little bit faster than if you just left it sitting there. And obviously those metabolites, if they're left floating around and not dealt with, they can make you feel sluggish and slow down your recovery. So good idea to get rid of them. It is a benefit to just be in the water, but to move obviously magnifies the effect somewhat. So you can probably see, and I'm not going to give you the speedo shot, that I'm just walking on the spot really, just to move my legs through the water. A lot of ice baths will have a function where they bubble air through the water. The function of that really is to just get the water to move so that you can sit still and the water can move against you. So yeah, that's how cryotherapy works. So I've just realized I used the wrong word there. What I should have said is water recovery therapy, and so you don't have to have cold to benefit from water recovery. So you can, like when I swim in Durban, and I do actually swim for recovery, then I actually swim in the pool down in Durban because it's a bit warmer and I can handle swimming in that water. Wouldn't be able to handle swimming in this water for very long. So just any pool is good for that, and you can walk like what I'm doing, or swim, or whatever. However, the cold, so the cryo part, is an additional thing that if you can include it, it is an extra benefit. The cold obviously has an effect on your circulation. So when your temperature starts to cool as a result of the the external cooling, your body immediately reacts by trying to warm it up, so it sends blood there, which obviously increases circulation. So then when the water therapy pushes all those pooled metabolites out of the kind of pockets that they can hide in, especially down in your calves, as I've mentioned earlier, the increase in blood flow then can take it away. So you're kind of getting a two-pronged benefit. I don't do too much ice bathing. I probably, if I'm training hard for an event, like for me the Doozy or the Comrades, I might choose to ice bath maybe about 3 or 4 times in a major event lead up. That's a 12-week lead up. When that will tend to happen is when training volume is starting to accumulate and you're feeling a bit tired and you need some recovery. I do it. If, for example, you are running a qualifying marathon in amongst all of your training, it's a good idea to try and boost your recovery in the week leading up to your qualifier, and then again after your qualifier, to try and get back to normal training. With the consequences, you try and shorten the recovery time of the physical load from that event. And yeah, I then generally also at this, like when I'm tapering and you're trying to recover, I will then maybe go probably twice in a 3-week taper, just to try and boost the recovery. So my in-laws live here at which is basically the bottom of Bothers Hill, so convenient for getting into the Valley of 1,000 Hills from here. Today, like on the route tester, we ran to Hillcrest, so they're very close by. So we slept here last night, got up here relatively late last night, went to bed, woke up, short drive to get to the buses this morning, then run back here, and very convenient to come back here and jump in the pool. Whenever I finish a run here, I do this. Comrades training happens in winter, and this pool is always freezing in winter, and I'm the only one who swims in it when it's cold. So yeah, it's just a convenient thing that I have access to, and I definitely take advantage of it. 5 weeks to Comrades, gotta stay healthy, so do you. Hopefully I can help you do that and give you some wisdom along the way. See you soon. So that's the new finished Mozambique in the background there, and in that direction over there is Kingsmead. So it's a beautiful day today in Durban. Hot weather, which is not ideal for running conditions, but it's beautiful for photography from up here. So I've just done the school run. Went to pick up my older son from school, and I just thought I'd add a little bit to my recovery chat. So it was obviously route tester on Saturday, which I ran 56 Ks, and obviously although I ran nice and easy and at a controlled pace, it does leave you with some consequences in your legs. And had a good rest day on Sunday, but obviously still feeling it a little bit. So before I went to pick him up from school, I got a little break. Didn't need a long break at all. I just went for a quick, I think I swam for less than 10 minutes. I think it might have been 600 or 700 meters. And I have to say I was doubting whether I would run today, this morning. But now that I've swum a little while ago and had a chance to loosen up and feel things out, I'm definitely going to head out for a run. So that's an example of how going for a swim can help you with recovery. It's definitely helped me decide that I'm going to head out and run today. It's Monday. 2 more weeks of kind of normal mileage left to get in the bank before we taper down for race day.